Hi, and welcome back to day 14 of your journey to elevate your relationship. Today's tool is have fun. And I'm talking about something much deeper than just going out on the weekends, having 2 or 3 hours of a good time on a special date. Do that if you do. If you're doing that, perfect. Keep doing it. What I'm talking about, though, is bringing fun into every aspect of your life, especially in your relationship. What happens when you do that is you expand your opportunity to learn and grow. It keeps fear at bay. The best way to describe this is if you can just imagine for a moment a dartboard. That little red dot in the middle that in darts we aim for represents our comfort zone. It's kind of hard to hit if we're not doing something to expand it. So to expand it, we have to step outside of it. Every time we step outside of it, the comfort zone grows. When we step outside of it, we're stepping into that learning and that growing zone. There's another ring out there as well. It's the fear zone. When we get up close to that, when we bump up against that, we become fearful. And when we become fearful, we retreat back into our comfort zone. What fun does is it expands that learning zone. You can go much deeper into that learning zone. You can try much more new things. You can elevate what you already have in that learning zone. And when you add fun into the mix, it expands it and expands it and expands it. Now, many of us have kind of fallen into a comfortable groove in our relationship. We just kind of move along. Things are fine, kind of status quo. Don't rock the boat. Folks, that doesn't serve you. In fact, it actually hurts you, and it hurts the relationship. What happens when we stay inside the comfort zone and we make no efforts whatsoever to get outside of it is our comfort zone actually begins to shrink. Now, an extreme example of this is I read in an article of a lady whose comfort zone was very regimented life. She got up in the morning, prepared for work. She went to work. She came home. She didn't deviate from that at all, except on the weekends, and she would go to the grocery store and occasionally to a clothing store to purchase new clothes. Very little deviation whatsoever from that weekly regimented schedule. Well, eventually what happened was those extra trips out to the clothing stores and the grocery store became unsafe. The fear moved in. So she learned how to shop online. She learned how to order her groceries online. And everything was delivered to her. So she never had to leave her house. The only time she would walk out of her house was to go out into her backyard and enjoy her gardening and just sitting outside, enjoying the weather, the sun. Eventually that became unsafe. She couldn't even go in her backyard. Well, not too long after that, it became unsafe to greet the delivery people at the door. So they would have to leave their products on the front porch, and then once they left, she would go retrieve them. This continued for a while, and before too much longer, her family discovered that she was living in the only safe space in her life, and that was her closet. Now, that was an extreme example, of course, but for every one of us, if we're not pushing against the boundaries of our comfort zone, if we're not stepping into that learning zone, it's shrinking. Now, if we've been running along in that comfortable groove, our learning zone has shrunk, which means the fear zone is closer. And eventually the learning zone will just disappear. And anytime you try to step out of your comfort zone, you're facing fear. Now, do not confuse vulnerability with fear. Anytime you choose to change, there's a feeling of vulnerability. There's power in that, because that can open you up to look at things differently. That can open you up to take on those challenges. Vulnerability is strength. Fear will turn you around. There's people that tell you to face your fear and step through it anyway. Some of us can do that. Some of us run when we have fear. When you add fun, it pushes fear away. So add fun into your relationship. Everything you do, find a way to have fun with it. Sometimes fun is more easily translated as adding love, adding joy, adding peace. But when you add fun, it doesn't have to be something that you're laughing and carrying on all the time. Fun can be anything that you enjoy. So have fun. And practice this today. This will open you up. I'm going to invite you even to go back and look at some of the awareness that we did last week. Look at your judgments, but look at it with fun instead of the seriousness. Look at your comparisons. Look at it with fun instead of the seriousness. You may find that you even make fun of some of the things that you were comparing to. This isn't about making light of the situation. This is about dealing with the situation in a new way. So have fun in your life. Have fun in your relationship. Have a great day. And we'll see you here tomorrow.